She was riding the highest wave of her life. And then, almost overnight, the ocean swallowed her whole. But here is the thing nobody is talking about. What looks like a disaster might actually be the most perfectly timed gift of her entire career. Today we are diving deep into the story of Alex, the 20-year-old Filipina who climbed all the way to number 29 in the world, got humbled by the brutal mathematics of professional tennis, and is now standing at the edge of something that could completely redefine her season. Stick with me because by the end of this, you are going to see her ranking drop to number 45 in a way you have never considered before. Let us rewind just a few weeks. Alex had just come off one of the most exhilarating stretches of tennis of her young life. The Middle East swing had been electric for her. Then came Indian Wells, where she put together one of those performances that makes people stop scrolling and actually pay attention. She grinded through a brutal marathon match against Diana Strica, the kind of match where you could feel the exhaustion and the adrenaline bleeding through the screen simultaneously, and she came out the other side victorious. She eventually lost to Linda Noskova, but nobody held that against her. Noskova is a powerhouse. What mattered was the number sitting next to her name when the dust settled: world number 29. For a player from the Philippines, a country with an enormously passionate sports culture but almost no history of representation at the very top of global singles tennis, that number was not just a statistic. It was a statement. It was history being made in real time, and the entire Filipino diaspora felt it. Flags in the stands. Noise that did not belong in a neutral venue. Alex had turned every stadium she walked into something that felt like home. Now she was heading to Miami, and this is where the story gets complicated. Because Miami was not just another tournament on the calendar for her. Miami was the place where everything changed 12 months ago. Last year, she arrived in Florida as a qualifier someone most casual fans had never heard of, and she proceeded to do something almost impossible. She beat former Grand Slam champions. She beat seasoned veterans. She went all the way to the semifinals of a WTA 1000 event, and she collected 390 ranking points in the process. 390 points that now, 1 year later, she needed to defend. That is the cruel and relentless engine that drives professional tennis. The WTA Tour runs on a 52-week rolling points system, which sounds straightforward enough until you realize what it actually means in practice. It means that every single triumph you celebrate today becomes a burden you carry exactly 1 year from now. You are never just playing the person across the net. You are playing the ghost of your own past performance. And Miami was Alex's biggest ghost. She showed up at Hard Rock Stadium as a seeded player this time. No longer the underdog with nothing to lose, she was the one being targeted, being studied, being prepared for. The pressure was suffocating in a way that a qualifier simply never feels. And yet she fought. She beat Laura Siegemann of Germany in a hard-fought battle. She beat Magdalena Frech of Poland. She reached the round of 16, which at any other tournament in any other context would be a result worth celebrating. But in Miami, round of 16 meant 120 points. Not 390. And when you subtract one from the other, you get a net loss of 270 points in a single afternoon. The ranking update on Monday told the story in cold and unforgiving numbers. Her total dropped from 1,525 points down to 1,255. She fell 16 spots. Just like that, world number 29 became world number 45. And the match itself was painful to watch. She ran into Karolína Muchová, the 14th ranked player in the world, a former Roland Garros finalist who played one of the cleanest matches you will see at this level. Muchova used aggressive net approaches and suffocating serving patterns to completely neutralize everything Alex was trying to build from the baseline. The final score was 6-love, 6-2. On paper it looks like a demolition. And honestly, on that day it was. The commentary started almost immediately. Was the original rise a fluke? Is she equipped to actually sustain herself at this level? Is the Miami run from last year starting to look like an outlier rather than a preview? People love a narrative, and a 16-spot drop in a single week is a very easy narrative to sell. But here is what those narratives are missing entirely. While all of this was happening, the ranking drop, the tough loss, the media chatter something significant was quietly being confirmed on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Alex has been entered directly into the main draw of the Austria Ladies Linz Open, a WTA 500 event with $1.2 million in prize money. She is not going through qualifying. She is not having to grind through the chaos and uncertainty of the preliminary rounds. She is going straight into a main draw loaded with some of the most dangerous players in the world, and the tournament organizers put her there because they know exactly what she brings to a tennis event. Let that marinate for a moment. Despite the drop to 45. Despite the crushing defeat in Miami. The structures of the WTA Tour are still recognizing her as a significant, seated presence at a premium event. That is not a consolation prize. That is a vote of confidence delivered in the language that professional sports actually speaks: opportunity and access. The Linz Open runs from April 6th through April 12th at the Design Center Linz in northern Austria. It has been a fixture on the women's tour since 1987 and has spent the last 3 years operating at WTA 500 status. This is serious tennis. The draw is 28 players, 19 of them direct entries, and when you scroll through the names that are confirmed or expected, the level of competition becomes immediately clear. The defending champion is Ekaterina Alexandrova, currently sitting at world number 11, who won last year's final and is returning to protect her title. Then there is Yelena Ostapenko, a player who won this very tournament in 2024 and who, on a good day, is virtually impossible to play against. Ostapenko does not believe in safe shots. She goes for her targets with a ferocity that makes even experienced opponents question their own game plans. Former world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki, who won this event back in 2014, is entering on a special ranking. Emma Navarro, the rising American star ranked 25th in the world, is making her Linz debut alongside Alex. And then there are players like Clara Tauson, Lulu Sun, and Mira Andreeva waiting in the wings. 10 of the top 40 players in the world, all converging on one venue. For Alex, walking into this environment means walking straight into the fire. And the fire is burning particularly hot because of the surface. Clay. Red clay. The great equalizer. The surface that has humbled power hitters and exposed tactical weaknesses for as long as the sport has existed. Everything that made Alex dangerous on hard courts: the flat penetrating ground strokes, the aggressive first strike mentality, the pace she generates so naturally, all of it gets complicated on clay. The ball does not skid through the way she likes it to. It grabs the surface, kicks up high, and gives opponents time to reset and construct points. Rallies that end in 3 or 4 shots on hard court stretch to 15 or 20 shots on clay. Your lungs start talking to you in a different language. Your legs need to slide into shots rather than plant and drive. And mentally, you have to completely recalibrate the tempo of your own game. Alex has been honest about this, which is itself a sign of maturity. After her Miami exit, she told reporters directly that clay is a surface where she has significant room for improvement and that she is genuinely curious to see how she handles it this year. That kind of candor is rare. Most players in the top 50 are deflecting, managing perceptions, projecting confidence even when the numbers tell a different story. She just told the truth. And the truth, backed by last year's clay season, is that she went 2 wins and 4 losses across 4 tournaments on the dirt. She suffered first-round exits at Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros. She looked uncomfortable. She looked like a player still searching for her footing, both literally and tactically, on a surface that demands a completely different version of yourself. But right here is the pivot point of this entire story. Here is the thing that should actually make every Alex supporter feel genuinely excited rather than concerned. Because her 2025 clay season was so unproductive, she has almost no ranking points to defend during this entire 2-month stretch of the European swing. Zero pressure. Clean slate. Every ball she puts in play from April onward on clay is pure accumulation. Think about what that means in practice. If she wins her first-round match in Linz, her ranking climbs. If she reaches the quarterfinals, she makes a significant jump. If she goes deep, if she somehow strings together a run that surprises even her own coaching staff, the ranking implications are enormous. After Linz, she is scheduled to head to Stuttgart for the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, one of the most prestigious clay events of the year. She is currently in the qualifying draw there, but every match she wins in qualifying is more free points added to a calendar that last year gave her almost nothing. Then comes Madrid, a full WTA 1000 event starting April 21st. Last year she barely registered. This year, walking into Madrid with 0 points to defend, every victory is a rocket ship. The ranking drop to 45 is not a catastrophe. It is a mathematical reset that has accidentally positioned her in the most statistically favorable stretch of her entire season. The pressure of the past has evaporated. What is left is pure forward momentum, if she can manufacture it. And that is the real question, is it not? Can she manufacture it on a surface that has not been kind to her? Can she make the tactical and mechanical adjustments that clay demands? Her coaching team is undoubtedly dissecting film right now, looking for the micro changes that can make the difference between a first-round exit and a deep run. The heavy topspin she will need to push opponents back. The patience to stay in rallies she might instinctively want to end sooner. The drop shot as a genuine weapon rather than an occasional surprise. The ability to construct a point across 15 exchanges rather than winning it in 5. These are learnable skills. They are not gifts that some players are born with and others are not. They are developed through repetition and through the particular kind of adversity that only real match play delivers. And Alex is 20 years old, which means she is at exactly the right stage of her development to absorb these lessons in a way that sticks permanently. There is something else worth sitting with here, something beyond the rankings and the tactical adjustments and the surface science. Alex is navigating a version of fame and expectation that most 20-year-olds will never come close to touching. She is traveling for 11 months a year. Hotel rooms, time zones, dietary adjustments, and a global sports media that moves incredibly fast and does not always stop to consider the human being at the center of the story. She carries the hopes of an entire nation in a very real and not just metaphorical sense. Filipino supporters show up everywhere the WTA goes. They coordinate, they travel, they make noise that tournament organizers across 3 continents have noticed and commented on. Alex is not just a player to those supporters. She is a symbol of something bigger, proof of what is possible from a country that has historically had to look elsewhere to see itself reflected at the top of global sport. She spoke about this in Miami with a level of self-awareness that was genuinely striking. She said that at first, the sudden fame was disorienting, because it is hard to see yourself as famous when you have simply been yourself your whole life. But she also said that once she moved through that initial disorientation, she found genuine joy in it, because a full stadium creates an atmosphere that changes the energy of a match entirely. That is not someone being overwhelmed by the spotlight. That is someone learning to use it. And the way she handled the Miami loss itself deserves recognition. She took to Instagram afterward and framed it not as a defeat but as gratitude. She called it her first sunshine double complete. She talked about what the Miami crowd meant to her. There were no excuses in that post. No deflection. No blaming the conditions or the scheduling or the draw. Just honest reflection and forward-facing energy. That is the mental architecture of a player who is building something that lasts. So here is where we land. The headlines read that Alex dropped 16 spots and is now ranked 45 in the world. And yes, that is factually accurate. But the fuller truth is that she has just been handed a clay court season with almost no defensive burden, a direct main draw entry into a prestigious WTA 500 event, and a 2-month window that could fundamentally change the trajectory of her ranking if she brings even a fraction of the fight she showed in Miami. And Indian Wells and the Middle East. Linz is the first test. Alexandrova, Ostapenko, Navarro, these are not friendly opening rounds. But neither were the matches she won in Miami, and she found a way through those. The red clay of Austria is waiting. The question is not whether Alex belongs at this level. That has already been answered. The question is how quickly she can translate her undeniable talent and her exceptional mental strength onto a surface that demands an entirely different kind of tennis. I genuinely believe we are about to watch one of the most fascinating chapters of her career unfold across the next 8 weeks. The drop to 45 is not the story. What she does with the clean slate in front of her, that is the story. Drop your predictions in the comments. Tell me how far you think she goes in Lin's, who you want to see her matched up against, and whether you think this clay swing is finally the moment she cracks the code on the dirt. Like the video if this breakdown gave you something to think about, subscribe if you want to follow every step of this journey, and I will see you in the next one as we track Alex all the way to Paris.